Well, UTA is hosting Rail Safety Week as they want everyone to be safe when taking the bus or the train around town.
That's right. So Lincoln and Ron are out on Main right now with UTA spokesman Gavin Gustafson for more on safety and specifically knowing those signs around the stations.
All right, Gavin, thanks so much for being with us here. And basically your theme for Rail Safety Week is every sign tells a story.
Yeah, that's correct. Literally that. Every sign, there's a story behind why we have that sign. There's a reason for it. And so every sign can be a lifesaver, and we encourage everybody to follow the signs.
The thing with Rail Safety Week is we do a lot of stories about people making bad decisions.
Right.
Unfortunately, tragic accidents happen. Just this morning, something happened right here, but also on a front runner track. Tell us about some of those.
Yeah, a couple of minor things. On the front runner track early this morning, we had a car that was high-centered. So basically, they didn't follow the sign. They were where they weren't supposed to be, and they were in a car that couldn't get over the rails. Luckily, we were able to clear it. Everything worked out all right, other than we did have some delays, and that's kind of the chain reaction that comes with it. Speaking of chains,
yeah.
We actually had, as I walked up to the studio here, I watched somebody jump over the chain, got their foot hung up. Everything's fine. He didn't trip and fall, but there's 10 feet is where you're supposed to go through and not be jumping over the chain. It's there for a reason, just like the signs. So follow directions, I guess.
If he would have tripped, he could have hurt himself as the train was coming in.
Sure, he could have hurt himself. He could have fallen into the path of an oncoming car. And I guess we're asking the public to take responsibility as much as possible for their own safety.
Well, we had a really tragic episode about a couple of weeks ago when a young woman was struck and killed by a train.
Yeah, that was a very tragic and unfortunate situation related to distractions, and it's a good lesson in eliminating distractions. She was wearing noise-canceling headphones. Seemed as though maybe she was reading or looking at her phone and not as aware as she needed to be. Unfortunately, stepping in front of an oncoming train, just didn't hear it. So yeah, tragedy, simple things can eliminate these kind of situations.
Is there an interactive exhibit that people can go to?
We had one at Salt Lake Central yesterday, where we had set up with some of our folks out there handing out some information, and we had a selfie station, and having a little fun with some of the signs. So that occurred yesterday. Today we are going around to some of the football games in the region and handing out information, trying to educate the youth on safety around rails. And then tomorrow we've got a deal up at Shea Park in Saratoga Springs, family event where people can ride a mini train and learn more about staying safe around the trains.
Okay, and there's a Clear the Track event that you had on Tuesday.
Yes, on Tuesday, yes, where we had some of our UTA PD set up at a couple of the stations and basically writing citations, if applicable for people, not following the signs and not being safe around trains.
What is it about train safety, and it seems like the inability for everybody to kind of obey the signs, do things they're supposed to do, not only in their cars, but on foot, as we've seen?
Yeah, I think people think that they can beat the train. I think that they, this train's going to hold me up for all of 30 to 60 seconds, so why don't I just run across, and then there's a trip and a fall and something terrible happens. So, trains can't stop quickly. They don't even have a steering wheel. They can't swerve to avoid you. Trains can't do those things, but you can. So we're asking people to be smart around trains. Use your brain around trains.
Looking at a bigger picture, I'm sure you keep stats on all of these kinds of things. Are things getting worse or better through education?
I think you could probably say that things are getting worse. Just like we have a problem with distracted driving, we have a problem with distracted walking. That doesn't have the same kind of ring to it. Maybe we'll work on that. But distractions are a problem, and we are unfortunately seeing an increase in those kind of related situations.
Can you talk about misjudging the speed of a train? Because I've noticed that. You think, it's off in the distance, but you don't know how fast it's going.
Right. Yeah, the front runner can go up to 79 miles an hour. In most cases, that's out in the open spaces area, but most cases it's going, say, somewhere between 30 and 50. That can still come up on you pretty quick. Even the tracks will get up to 45 miles an hour. So it's just not worth it to try and beat the train.
And what other events do you have coming up just to help remind people? I think there's one in Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, Saratoga Springs tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. at Shea Park. It's a family event. We've got a mini train there with UTA Live Steamers, I think is the organization. So, yeah, we're working with our partners, Utah Operation Lifesaver, and we're going to get out and educate the public.
And you're here with UTA, of course, but
Yes.
Rail Safety Week, I mean, obviously that can apply to freight trains all across the state. There's a lot of different types of trains that people are going to encounter out there.
Absolutely. There's freight trains running through this state all over the place, and we're right in the middle. There's a lot of rail intersections, and a lot of freight comes through here. So it's not just Front Runner and tracks. There's Union Pacific, and Amtrak runs through here as well. So it's really important to stay safe around the trains and the tracks.
And back to the theme, every sign tells a story. Things are clearly marked, different warnings and what you need to do and what you shouldn't do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all get kind of used to whether it's traffic signals or signs. Yeah, all right, there's a sign and I can ignore it. It's there for a reason. You know, the green light is green and it's red for a reason. Yeah, you probably have seen the fender benders we get here downtown where people are ignoring the no left turn and then they turn right in front of the train. All of those signs and signals are there for a reason. Something happened in the past that necessitated that sign or that signal, so pay attention.
Okay. Gavin Gustafson, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks so much.
Yep. All right.